Hi guys, welcome to Genius Stories. Get ready to dive into another unforgettable play where emotions run deep and stories come to life. Today we bring you a tale filled with passion, drama, and the power of love. So sit back, relax, and let the magic of storytelling take you on a journey like never before. Welcome to another amazing play, Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. Step into a world where love defies fate, where passion clashes with destiny, and where the most famous love story of all time unfolds before your eyes. Welcome to Romeo and Juliet, a timeless masterpiece by William Shakespeare. A tale of love so powerful that it still echoes across centuries. Love, an emotion so powerful that it has shaped destinies, inspired poets, and defied time itself. It is the force that brings strangers together, the whisper in the wind that sets hearts racing, and the invisible thread that binds souls beyond reason. Love is passion, sacrifice, longing, and the courage to fight against all odds. Across centuries, love has been written about in songs, painted on canvases, and immortalized in stories that have stood the test of time. It is found in stolen glances, in letters never sent, in the silent prayers of longing hearts. Love has built kingdoms, crossed oceans, and even challenged fate itself. Because love is not just a feeling, it is the most beautiful story ever told. Now the story begins. A small request. Before you watch, dear viewers, this story is inspired by a beautiful play written by William Shakespeare. It's rich with emotions, visuals, and poetry, and it unfolds slowly. The video may feel a little lengthy because of the storytelling, but every scene carries meaning and builds towards a powerful ending. If you skip, you may miss moments that truly connect. Please watch it fully, in sequence. The sun rose gently over Verona, casting long golden rays across terracotta rooftops and quiet cobbled streets. It was a city of music and markets, of whispered secrets in shaded courtyards and laughter echoing from balconies. But beneath its charm, Verona bore the weight of a deep, unspoken wound, a rift carved by time and pride, dividing its people in silence and scorn. Two great houses stood at the center of it all, the Montagues and the Capulets. Equal in status, wealth, and pride, yet torn apart by an ancient grudge whose roots had long been forgotten, but whose flames burned brighter with each passing day. The streets echoed with their quarrels. Their servants fought in broad daylight, and even the city's peacekeepers had grown weary of bloodshed. Servants spat at each other in the streets. A sideways glance could spark a fight. Even the air seemed to tremble with tension when men of both houses crossed paths. The Montague family was led by Lord Montague, a serious and proud man who cared deeply about his family's name. His wife, Lady Montague, was more gentle and often worried about the violence between the two families. Their only son was Romeo Montague, a young man with a kind heart. Romeo didn't care much for fighting. He was emotional, dreamy, and often lost in his thoughts about love and life. His cousin Benvolio was calm and always tried to stop fights, while Romeo's close friend Mercutio was quick-witted, funny, and loved to talk, sometimes too much. On the other side was the Capulet family, led by Lord Capulet, a strong and proud man with a fiery temper. He loved his family but wanted things done his way. His wife, Lady Capulet, was elegant and cared a lot about status and reputation. Their daughter, Juliet Capulet, was only 14 years old, young, smart, and full of curiosity. She was usually quiet and obedient, but she had her own thoughts and dreams. Juliet was very close to her nurse, an older woman who had raised her like a mother. The nurse was loud, talkative, and often funny, but also deeply loyal to Juliet. Tybalt, Juliet's cousin, was the most aggressive of them all. He hated the Montagues and would start a fight even with the smallest insult. He was quick to anger and proud of his family's honor. Watching over the city was Prince Aeschylus, the ruler of Verona. He was tired of the constant fighting between the Montagues and the Capulets. After so many street brawls and public disturbances, the prince had warned both families that if they continued to fight, they would be severely punished. While the city of Verona braced itself under the prince's warning, life inside the Montague household had grown tense in a different way. The morning sun spilled softly across the Montague estate, but within its walls, a different kind of shadow lingered, one that no sword or shield could defend against. Romeo, the only son of Lord and Lady Montague, had become a mystery even to those who loved him most. He was often seen wandering alone at dawn, walking beneath the trees just outside Verona's gates. With his head bowed and eyes lost in thought, he would sigh deeply, not from weariness, but from something far more elusive. When his cousin Benvolio asked him what troubled his heart, Romeo spoke in riddles of love and sorrow, as if carrying the weight of 1,000 poems in his chest. To those who knew him, Romeo was kind, respectful, and full of feeling. But lately, he had become distant. His father, Lord Montague, spoke of his sadness with concern, saying, "Many a morning hath he there been seen, with tears augmenting the fresh morning dew." Yet no one could name the cause. It was soon revealed that Romeo's heart had been stolen, not by Juliet, not yet, but by a young woman named Rosalind, who had sworn never to love. Romeo was caught in a storm of unreturned affection, and though his friends urged him to forget her, his soul clung to the pain, as if heartbreak were his closest companion. Later that day, Romeo sat quietly in the Montague garden, still thinking about Rosalind. His cousin Benvolio joined him and gently said, "Romeo, you must forget her. There are many other beautiful girls in Verona. You just need to see them." But Romeo shook his head. "No one is like Rosalind," he replied. "She's perfect. I can't look at anyone else." Just then, Mercutio, Romeo's close friend, arrived, full of energy, jokes, and clever words. "Come on, Romeo," Mercutio laughed. "Enough of this sadness. Life is short. There's a party tonight at the Capulet house. Every beautiful girl in Verona will be there, even Rosalind." At first, Romeo didn't want to go. "A Capulet party? They're our enemies," he said, "and I don't want to see Rosalind again. It will only make me sadder." But Benvolio had a plan. He wanted Romeo to see other girls, to realize that Rosalind wasn't the only one in the world. "Just come and look," he said. "Compare her to others. Maybe you'll see that your heart can love again." Mercutio added, "We'll wear masks. No one will know who we are. It'll be fun, and maybe fate has something new waiting for you tonight." After thinking for a moment, Romeo agreed. "Fine, I'll go. Not because I believe you, but to prove that Rosalind is the most beautiful of all." And so, with laughter and hope, the three young men prepared to enter the house of their enemies. Not knowing that one of them was about to meet the love of his life, the night of the Capulet ball arrived, and the Capulet house was glowing with light and music. Servants rushed through the halls, hanging golden drapes, lighting candles, and preparing trays of food and drink. Nobles from all over Verona arrived dressed in their finest clothes and elegant masks. The great hall sparkled with joy and celebration. Inside, Juliet stood quietly with her nurse by her side. She was dressed in a beautiful gown, her hair pinned up with pearls. Though young, she carried herself with quiet grace. Her parents had invited an important guest that night, Count Paris, a wealthy and noble man who wanted to marry Juliet. But Juliet wasn't thinking about marriage. She simply watched the people around her, unsure of what the night would bring. Meanwhile, outside the Capulet gate, Romeo, Benvolio, and Mercutio arrived, wearing masks to hide their faces. "No one will know who we are," Mercutio laughed. "Let's enjoy the music and the mystery." Romeo felt nervous. He still thought of Rosalind. But something in the night air felt different. The music, the laughter, the lights. It was like a dream. As they entered the hall, Romeo looked around, and then he saw her. Across the crowd, Romeo spots Juliet. She's dancing, surrounded by guests, dressed beautifully. He doesn't know her name, and he has no idea she's a Capulet. But the moment he sees her, he's struck by her beauty. Time seems to slow down for him. And at that very moment, Juliet saw him too. She didn't know who he was, only that his eyes found hers with warmth and wonder. Something unspoken passed between them. Something stronger than words, something deeper than logic. As music played and laughter echoed through the Capulet hall, Romeo stood still. His eyes locked on Juliet. She moved with grace, smiling gently as she danced. The lights flickered softly around her, making her look like she didn't belong to this world. Romeo couldn't help himself. With slow steps, he made his way through the crowd. He didn't know her name or her family. He didn't care. Something deeper had pulled him toward her, something he couldn't explain. Meanwhile, Tybalt, Juliet's fiery cousin, noticed Romeo from across the room. Even with the mask, Tybalt recognized him as a Montague. His anger boiled. "What is a Montague doing here at our party?" he whispered. Furious, Tybalt went to tell Lord Capulet and asked for permission to throw Romeo out. But Lord Capulet stopped him. "Leave him be," he said calmly. "He's behaving like a gentleman tonight. We don't want to cause a scene in front of our guests." Tybalt stepped back, but his eyes burned with hatred. "This isn't over," he muttered. Back on the dance floor, Romeo finally reached Juliet. These is the poem what Romeo says.
"Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night, as a rich jewel in an Ethiope seal, beauty too rich for use, for earth too dear. So shows a snowy dove trooping with crows, as yonder lady o'er her fellows shows the measure done. I'll watch her place of stand, and touching hers make blessed my rude hand. Did my heart love till now forswear its sight? For I ne'er saw true beauty till this night."
Each line reflects his immediate admiration and wonder upon seeing her for the first time. He uses vivid imagery to explain how extraordinary and divine she appears in that moment. Here is the explanation of the poem. He glorifies her beauty and exclaims in wonder that she teaches torches to burn bright. Her beauty makes even the brightly burning torches to look dull before her brightness. He compares her to a rich jewel in an Ethiopian's ear and a snowy dove dancing among crows. He feels that her beauty is divine and too rich to be used. He wants to touch her with his rude hands and feel blessed doubts his own feeling towards other ladies in his life till then. It is because he never saw a true beauty like her. He feels that her beauty is beyond comparison with anybody, and she is personification of love and beauty. This is the meaning of Romeo's poem. As Juliet waits eagerly for night to fall, her heart longs for Romeo. In this moment of passion and yearning, she turns to the night itself, imagining it as the gentle force that will reunite her with her beloved. Her words become a beautiful, emotional plea as she speaks.
Come night, come Romeo, come thou day and night, for thou wilt lie upon the wings of night, whiter than new snow on a raven's back. Come, gentle night, come, loving black-browed night, give me my Romeo, and when I shall die, take him and cut him out in little stars, and he will make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with night and pay no worship to the garish sun.
The explanation of the Juliet's poem. Juliet's love is more intense than Romeo's. She invokes night, and along with the night, her Romeo as well. To her, Romeo is the day in night. She visualizes Romeo gliding upon the wings of night and coming to her like a snow on Raven's back. She passes praises night as gentle night, loving black-browed night, because it is at night that Romeo comes. She goes little further and requests night to take him and place him among the stars after her death, so that he will make the face of heaven even more beautiful and world stops worshiping the garish sun and begins loving only the night. In this way, she wants her Romeo to become immortal. Romeo couldn't stop thinking about Juliet. Driven by love, he sneaked back into the Capulet estate, climbing the garden wall and hiding beneath Juliet's balcony. Juliet, unaware that Romeo was nearby, stepped out into the night, thinking aloud about her feelings for him. She questioned why he had to be a Montague, the enemy of her family. Hearing her speak with such emotion, Romeo revealed himself. Juliet was shocked at first, but her happiness quickly replaced the fear. They spoke softly and honestly about their feelings. Both of them knew the risks, but they couldn't deny their love. In that quiet moment under the stars, they made a promise that no matter what stood in their way, they would find a way to be together. Before parting, Juliet told Romeo that if he was serious about marrying her, he should send word the next day about the time and place. Romeo agreed and left the garden with hope in his heart. After their magical night at the Capulet party and the secret meeting on the balcony, Romeo was filled with excitement and determination. He couldn't wait any longer. As the morning sun rose over Verona, Romeo hurried through the quiet streets, headed straight to Friar Lawrence's cell. Friar Lawrence, a kind and wise old priest, was tending to his herbs and flowers. He believed nature held the power to heal both the body and the soul. He was surprised to see Romeo so early. At first, the friar thought Romeo had stayed up all night thinking about Rosalind again. But Romeo quickly told him that everything had changed. He had met Juliet, and they had fallen in love at first sight. He wanted the friar to marry them secretly. Friar Lawrence was shocked. Just the day before, Romeo had been heartbroken over Rosalind. But seeing how serious and passionate Romeo was, the friar began to think that maybe this love could do something greater. Maybe even end the hate between the Montagues and the Capulets. He agreed to help them, but he warned Romeo to be careful. But still, he promised to marry them that very day. Inside Juliet's grand yet suffocating home, her world starts to fall apart. Her father, Lord Capulet, storms into her room with a firm decision. She must marry Count Paris by Thursday. He believes this will bring honor and security. But to Juliet, it feels like a death sentence. Her heart already belongs to Romeo. The man her father wants her to marry feels like a stranger. Her voice trembles as she tries to say no. But Lord Capulet doesn't listen. His love turns into rage. He shouts, insults her, even threatens to throw her out of the house if she disobeys. Juliet's eyes fill with tears, not just of fear, but of deep heartbreak and betrayal. She had always obeyed her parents. Now they are crushing her soul. She feels trapped, powerless, alone. Her only comfort is the nurse, who rushes to hold her. The nurse wipes Juliet's tears and whispers, "He's waiting for you." Romeo is in the garden. With her heart pounding, Juliet runs through the darkness, guided by love and desperation. She finds Romeo. The moment their eyes meet, they fall into each other's arms. Juliet breaks down. She cries into Romeo's chest, telling him everything: her father's threats, her fear, her hopelessness. Romeo listens with pain in his eyes. He holds her tightly and whispers, "We'll face this together. Let's not wait anymore." Their love speaks louder than the fear. In the middle of tears and trembling voices, Romeo promises to marry her, in secret. A moment of pain turns into a moment of courage. Together, they decide to risk everything for love. The morning was quiet, the air thick with anticipation. The sun filtered through the stained glass windows of Friar Lawrence's small chapel, casting soft colors over the stone floor. This was no grand cathedral, no royal ceremony, just a humble space where two souls, deeply in love, would defy the world to be together. Juliet entered first, her steps light but trembling. Romeo entered from the side door, his chest rising and falling quickly. When his eyes met Juliet's, everything stilled. The fear, the sorrow, the war between their families, all of it vanished for a moment. All he saw was her. Friar Lawrence stepped forward, his voice low and kind. "You come not with the blessing of your kin, but with the blessing of your hearts. Let love guide you, for you will need its strength in the days ahead." As the ceremony began, both Romeo and Juliet felt a wave of emotion surge through them. They took each other's hands, soft, warm, slightly trembling. Juliet's voice broke when she repeated her vows, tears slipping down her cheek. Romeo gently wiped them away with his thumb, whispering, "Forever, I am yours." When the friar pronounced them husband and wife, there was no applause, no cheering, only silence. After their secret wedding, Romeo and Juliet left each other with sad hearts. They didn't want to be apart, but they knew they had to keep their love a secret. Juliet went back home, touching her wedding veil softly. She felt happy and excited. She was now Romeo's wife, but her family didn't know. She smiled quietly, but inside, she was a little scared. Romeo walked through the streets of Verona feeling peaceful and full of love. He was now Juliet's husband. He didn't care about the fight between the Montagues and Capulets anymore. He didn't feel any anger, only love and hope for a better future. But peace didn't last. Tybalt, Juliet's cousin, was full of rage. He found out that Romeo had come to the Capulet party and saw it as a great insult. He was proud, and felt disrespected. He didn't know about the wedding. He didn't want peace. He wanted revenge. Tybalt walked through the streets in anger. He shouted bad things about the Montagues and especially about Romeo. He broke Montague carts, tore down their flags, and even threw stones at their houses. People were scared. Tybalt looked wild and dangerous. Romeo didn't fight back. He stayed calm because he was now married to Juliet, Tybalt's cousin. He didn't want to hurt his new family. But Mercutio, Romeo's friend, couldn't stay silent. He got angry seeing Tybalt's behavior and stepped in to defend Romeo's honor. Tybalt and Mercutio started to fight. The fight was fast and dangerous. Tybalt was wild. He wasn't fighting for honor, but to destroy. Romeo rushed in and tried to stop them. He begged for peace and stood between them. But Tybalt didn't listen. In a sudden moment, Tybalt stabbed Mercutio. Blood spilled. Mercutio fell, and Romeo watched his friend die. Romeo was heartbroken. His pain turned into anger. His love was replaced by fire. He couldn't stay peaceful anymore. Filled with grief, Romeo picked up his sword and fought Tybalt. It was a loud and angry fight. Tybalt, once proud and strong, was now pushed back. Romeo's pain made him fight harder. At last, he struck Tybalt down. Tybalt fell to the ground, dead. The street went quiet. Then came fear. Romeo looked at his hands, one holding a bloody sword, the other wearing his wedding ring. He had just killed Juliet's cousin, his new family. The peace he dreamed of was now broken. Suddenly, the city guards and people came running. Romeo panicked and fled into the shadows. After Romeo ran away, the people in the street were in shock. Some were crying, some were shouting. Mercutio was dead, and now Tybalt too. The guards came and saw the blood on the ground. The fight had ended, but the pain had just begun. Benvolio, Romeo's friend, explained everything to the prince, the ruler of Verona. He told how Tybalt started the fight, how Romeo tried to keep peace, and how Mercutio was killed. He begged the prince to understand that Romeo didn't want this to happen. But the prince was very angry. 2 people had died in the streets, and both families, Montague and Capulet, were to blame. The prince shouted, "No more death, no more fighting. Romeo is not to be killed, but he must leave Verona forever." Romeo was banished. That meant he had to leave the city and never return. If he came back, he would be killed. After killing Tybalt, Romeo rushed to Friar Lawrence's cell, shaken and desperate. The friar welcomed him in, giving him food, shelter, and a safe place to rest for the night. The next day, news arrived. The prince had spared Romeo's life, but ordered him to be exiled from Verona. Knowing that keeping Romeo in his cell would soon bring danger, Friar Lawrence quickly devised a plan. Romeo would visit Juliet under the cover of night, then leave for Mantua before dawn, where he would remain in hiding until the friar could work for his pardon and safe return. Back at the Capulet house, Juliet was waiting happily for news from Romeo. She dreamed of being with him again that night. But suddenly, the nurse came in with a pale face and trembling voice. She told Juliet what happened, how Tybalt was dead, and worse, Romeo killed him. Juliet was heartbroken and confused. Her heart loved Romeo, but her mind cried for her cousin. She fell to the floor, crying. Why did this happen? Why did Romeo do this? She asked again and again, but deep in a calm, reassuring voice. Juliet, do not be afraid. I know where Romeo is. He is safe, far from danger in the city of Mantua. He explained how Romeo had left Verona before dawn, just as they had planned, and was now in hiding until the time was right for his return. There is one way, a dangerous plan, but it may bring you back to Romeo. The friar handed her a small vial and explained the plan. That night, Juliet would drink the potion. It would make her fall into a deep sleep. so deep that she would look dead. According to Italian customs in the 16th century, bodies were not buried under the ground before 42 hours. So after that time, the potion would wear off, and she would wake up, still alive. Her family would think she had died, and they would place her in the tomb. After 42 hours, she would wake up. Meanwhile, the friar would send a letter to Romeo to explain everything. Romeo would come to the tomb, help Juliet escape, and they could live together far away. Free. Juliet wiped her tears and bravely took the potion. "I will do it," she said. For love. For Romeo. She returned home, pretended to agree to marry Paris, and went to bed that night with the potion in her hand and hope in her heart. A potion is a special liquid that is usually made by mixing various ingredients, often used in stories or old medicines to create a magical or powerful effect. In the story of Romeo and Juliet, the potion that Friar Lawrence gives to Juliet is not a poison. It is a sleeping potion. It makes her look dead by slowing her heartbeat and breath so much that no one can tell she's alive. She stays like this for about 42 hours. After that time, she wakes up completely normal and safe. Juliet uses this potion to escape marrying Paris and to reunite with Romeo. So, in simple words, a potion is a magical drink. In this story, it's a drink that makes Juliet look dead for a short time, but she is actually alive. He wrote a message filled with hope, explaining everything to Romeo. He trusted another friar, Friar John, to deliver it. But fate was cruel. On the way, Friar John was stopped, locked inside a house. Someone there was suspected of having the plague, a deadly disease feared in the 16th century. The law quarantined him. No one in, no one out. The letter never reached Romeo. Romeo, waiting in Mantua, knew nothing. He only heard one thing, from his servant Balthazar. Juliet is dead. That lie, though it felt like truth, broke his heart in an instant. He couldn't breathe, couldn't think. All he knew was this: he didn't want to live in a world without Juliet. So he bought poison, deadly, fast, final. He rode back to Verona secretly to see her one last time and to die beside her. At Juliet's tomb, Romeo found Paris, mourning, weeping. Paris thought Romeo was there to dishonor the grave. Words turned to swords, and Romeo, full of grief and fury, killed him. Then he stepped inside the tomb, and there she was, his Juliet, lying still, pale, beautiful, too beautiful to be dead. He held her hand. He kissed her lips, and with tears in his eyes, he whispered goodbye and drank the poison. Moments later, too late, Juliet woke. Her vision blurred, her body weak, but then she saw him. Her Romeo lying cold beside her, a vial in his hand, no breath in his chest. She called his name, touched his face, but there was no answer. Realization crashed over her like a wave of knives. Romeo thought she was truly dead and ended his life. She wept. She kissed him, hoping some poison still remained on his lips. But there was none. And then she saw it, his dagger. With no life left to live and no love left to hold, Juliet took the dagger and pressed it to her heart. "This is for you, my love." She fell beside Romeo. Their blood mixed, their souls reunited. Friar Lawrence arrived too late. He saw the bodies. He fell to his knees. He had come to save them, but found only silence, sorrow, and death. Soon the city gathered, the Montagues, the Capulets, the prince. They stood before the lifeless lovers, two children destroyed by their family's hate. And there, among the tears, Friar Lawrence told the truth. The secret wedding, the love they tried to protect, the plan with the potion, the message that never came, and the final deadly misunderstanding. The families were silent. Then they cried. Lord Capulet and Lord Montague turned to each other, rivals for years, and finally saw the cost of their pride. They embraced. "We have lost everything," they said. "This war must end." To honor the love of Romeo and Juliet, they promised to build golden statues so no one would ever forget. Peace came to Verona at last, but it came too late. Romeo and Juliet's love ended the hatred, but it also ended their lives. Their story reminds the world. Sometimes, love is stronger than hate, but when peace comes after death, it hurts forever. And here, the story ends. Thank you so much for watching this story till the very end. This beautiful play was written by William Shakespeare, and I hope you not only understood it, but also enjoyed the journey. Your support truly means a lot. If you liked it, please give a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more. Once again, thank you for being with me.